Welcome to the third and final episode of my scavenger hunt across Adelaide. So far, I have found 3 of the 5 secret locations. Locations 3, 4 and 5. I have used 17 of the 30 available thermometer questions to let me figure out where to search by eliminating regions of the map. I now just have 2 locations left to find, both of which are in the northeast. With about 6 hours of daylight left, I am hopping on a tram from Glenelg and heading back up to the city centre, through Victoria Square where the hunt began at 9:30 yesterday morning. From here, my plan is to disembark at Rundle Mall for lunch, and then head to Adelaide train station. The Gawler train line conveniently runs directly north along my remaining search region, so I plan to use some thermometers from on the train, each of which should be able to tell me about the latitude of both of the remaining locations. Finished my sandwich, packed with the nutrients I need to find the last 2 locations. Let's head to the train station. Let's get to the other side of this intersection. Here's the train station. We go in here. Catching the Gawler line, which is in 8 minutes. Is that train? So I've just had to hastily get off that train because apparently it's an express train which doesn't actually go to the stations I need it to go to, and I'd end up getting stuck somewhere really far north. After looking at it, it is express to Dry Creek, which is not where I need to go. This is the train I probably want to catch because Dudley Park, Islington and Kilburn are the stations I care about. Unfortunately, it doesn't leave for another 31 minutes. I might need to come up with another plan in the meantime because half an hour is quite a while to wait. At the moment, my limiting factor is primarily the amount of daylight hours that I have. So just losing half an hour waiting for a train is really not ideal. I'll have a quick look at alternatives, if there's a bus or something, or if there's anything I can do on foot. So here's what my plan was that I figured out on the tram ride. So this train line passes through Ovingham, Dudley Park and Islington, which are all kind of in a straight line. My plan was to start a thermometer at Ovingham and end it at Islington to give me a north-south, basically through where Dudley Park is. I still kind of want to do that. My reasoning is I think it's likely one of the 2 locations is in the city centre area, so I don't want the dividing line to be too far north, because I think one of them is quite likely to be south. I now need to see whether there's a bus or something that I can do, or if I'm just better served waiting for 30 minutes for the train. So I've learned there is a bus that goes the same way, but tragically, I have literally just missed it. It's just passing through the station now, and the next one is not for quite some time. So at that point, I'm just better off waiting for the train. I've decided to just accept my fate and wait for this train. Don't think there's much else I can really do. Just gonna get on the train and wait for it to leave. Now we wait. Because I have more thermometers left, I have 13 left to find 2, and probably less daylight hours relative to that. My plan is to do 2 thermometers while on this train to make the most of the ride. I'm going to do one starting from Adelaide station, right here where I am now, and then end it when we get to North Adelaide. That gives me a kind of diagonal line that would tell me about whether they're in the city centre or not. Not exactly. That line basically runs almost in line with a river off to the east, which that could be useful information as well. And then I'll still do the thermometer I was planning to do from Dudley Park. So the train's finally about to leave, so I'm going to start the first thermometer now. For some reason the train skipped North Adelaide, so I ended it at Ovingham, which is not ideal, but I'm basically going to just start another one immediately, but I'm going to quickly look what I learned. Okay, I learned colder on both, so I need to get off the train. Just raced off the train. I hope I interpreted that quickly because that was a very split-second judgment. Yeah, I got a colder on the Adelaide to Ovingham station. I got a colder on both, so they're 1 and 2 are both south of that line. I don't know when the next train is. according to that sign, it's in 23 minutes, so I have some time to figure out my next move. I think this is good for me. I think it's ruled out an actual huge part of the region. And yeah, I guess I'm not going to whatever those stations were called, Dudley Park. Got this big overpass here. Let's go sit over there. We've just eradicated all of that. We're down to this area, so we know one is on this western side, so we know it is definitely somewhere in the city centre. Number 2 is in the eastern half, so it's likely to be in the city centre, although there is this bit outside of it. What I want to do is, I think, on the main street here in the city centre, do a north-south along there. The tricky bit now is going to be figuring out how do I actually efficiently get back to the city from here, because the train, this line just seems to not have very frequent service. I'll see if there's a bus or something, otherwise I can either walk or wait for the train. This thing is a lot harder to climb than it looks, especially when you have your hands full. Google Maps says waiting for the train is going to be the fastest way. There's no buses that are any quicker, and it is a pretty long 3.5 kilometer walk. The area under this overpass is pretty cool. It's another angle from up the top of the hill. Here comes the train. Just got off the train. We're back in Adelaide now. So we've just re-emerged from the train station. So the situation is like this. We've got 12 thermometers left to use to get these last 2 locations. 5 of them are pretty short. Those ones are 350 meters or less. The other 7 are pretty long. They're all 850 meters or more. Because these 2 locations seem reasonably close together, I'm hoping I should be able to have a reasonable amount of the thermometers give me information on both, but I don't want to use the limited short thermometers just yet. I'm going to use the 850 now, I think, to do a north-south split along this main road right behind me. Given I kind of want to look around this area anyway, I think I might use the 1.1 kilometer thermometer. So I am going to walk 550 meters north and then turn around and then walk 1.1 kilometers south. We'll head on down past the river. The other end of the bridge now. I only need to go about 100 more meters this way before turning around. I'm kind of realizing this oval is in my way, so I'll have to go around it. I've hit a dead end in this side area, but I am far enough north that I can just start the thermometer from here. I've started the thermometer, now I'm going to walk back the other way. My leg is starting to cramp a little bit now after so much walking, but it should be okay. Back across the bridge. We have sufficient distance now. I'm just going to go around this corner so we get a straight north-south. I've just ended the thermometer. We are south of North Terrace. That's where our dividing line is, just south of there. I'm after traveling 1,100 meters. Location number 1, we are colder. Location number 2 is hotter. So one of those is to the north, one of those is to the south. What that means is that regions 1 and 2 no longer share a boundary, they only share a corner, which means any thermometers that we do now, if we want it to touch both location 1 and 2, we have to do it on a diagonal. Made it back to the edge of Victoria Square, and I'm now going to update the map. So our line was just south of North Terrace. I think I'm pretty tempted to do some kind of diagonal that cuts through both. Maybe like that. I'll see how I can go about achieving that. There is hella pigeons in this area. It took me a while to figure out because the printed map is so tiny, but I found a diagonal that I like. I'm gonna do the intersection of Flinders Street and East Terrace with Wakefield Street and Hutt Street. I'm on Flinders Street now, so I'm just gonna walk to East Terrace. It has just started to rain slightly, so I'm hoping it either stays very light or doesn't last for long. There's a couple of pink and grey galahs over there, a good omen. This corner here is the intersection of Flinders Street and East Terrace. I didn't really consciously realise before walking that I was basically walking from the very middle of the city centre all the way to the eastern edge. So it took a little while, but I'm here now and I can start the thermometer. The thermometer is started, so I just need to walk to kind of the opposite corner. It's a lot less far than I had to travel to get here. It's just 1 block. So many galahs here, must really be on the right track. I'm at the opposite corner of the block now. We've got a 200 meter thermometer from that. I got number 1 is hotter, number 2 is colder. So I'm going to need to look at the map and see what that means. So 1 has quite a small area left, 2's area is quite a bit bigger. At the moment, I'm a lot closer to 2, so I think it definitely makes sense to do that first. I think it's likely to be in one of those edge parks. I think I should do a north-south thermometer along that road that cuts through one of the parks. The street I want to split is Bartels Road. I want to use my 850 meter thermometer for this, so I'm actually heading south a block so that I'm 425 meters away from it, so I can walk north 850 meters and end the thermometer there. Once I'm there, I'm going to be a bit more willing to use a couple of the shorter ones. I just used the 200, so we have, I think, 4 short thermometers left after that. I've made it down a block. I'm going to start the thermometer here and then turn around. Not sure what this building is, but it's kind of interesting looking. This is the road I'm slicing along. Ducks. Little island. I've just ended the thermometer. It ended up being a 900 meter thermometer rather than 850. Looking at the results, we are hotter, so we have to keep going further north. That one's pretty easy to keep in mind, so I'm not going to mark it on the map just yet. I did end up updating the map, so we just have this long strip, which I think is obviously wanting a east-west. I think it's likely that it's in the parks, so I'm thinking of putting the line along this edge of the park. I've just started the thermometer now, which is going to be a 350 meter thermometer. Just need to cross over here. Just ended the thermometer here and we got colder, so we head back the other way. That is what I was expecting, so it's probably going to be near those parks. A quick map update. Where the pencil's pointing is now the search area for number 2. It's getting pretty small. Probably just one more split, I'm thinking. My instincts are telling me it's probably in one of these 2 parks. Probably the southern of the 2, because the northern one, which I'm in now, just seems to kind of be fields of grass and mud. I don't feel confident enough at the moment to just do a blind radius check, so I'm going to go use a thermometer along the east-west to rule out the little triangle outside the parks. I've just started the thermometer along Rundle Road, which is here above the stream. I'm going to use the 250 meter thermometer. So I ended the thermometer and surprisingly I'm hotter this way, so it is actually not in the parks and is in the triangle. So we're really close now. So this is the final map update, I believe, for number 2. So we can cross out these parks. And I believe this little triangle is where I need to search. So I'm going to go to the middle of that and do a radius check. I just did the location check from the intersection of Frome Street and Rundle Street, and we have discovered location 2. Let's see what the image is. It is a very vibrantly colored wall. There's some letters on a sign that I can't quite make out. I can see a P. 2 of them might say Poppin', possibly. Let's go find that. My plan is to just walk up and down the main street to see if I spot it. It seems like the easiest thing to do. Kind of colourful down here, but doesn't seem to be it. Probably not down there either. Nothing popping out. Fairly subdued up there. This one's very similar to the last one. There is a colourful planter box up there, but it doesn't look like the walls are like that. Not here. Double check this alley. No, that's very plain. Keep walking around. Haven't checked up here. Nothing very colourful. Around here. Alright, we're back on Rundle Street. I'll keep going up Rundle Street west until I hit the boundary of the search area. I've just spotted something. That looks like it says Poppin' on it. This has got to be it. This looks promising. Let's check if this is it. I just pressed the button from the other side of the road and it is now marked as found. That's 4 out of 5. It's just location 1 left. I've got to head back to the central area. I'll see you there. So we've got about an hour and a half of daylight left with one location left to find. The search area is already very small and we have some pretty short thermometers left, so we should be able to find it pretty quickly. I'm heading to a tram stop to take me back into central Adelaide. This is my timer, remaining game timer. We've arrived at the tram stop. Just an 8-minute wait for the tram, so not too bad. Here's our tram. Probably the last public transport of the game.
The next stop is Adelaide Railway Station.
Alright, we're off public transport. So here's the plan. I have a 100 meter radar and a 150 meter radar left. So I'm just going to head to the center of the triangle that is the feasible region for the last location, location number 1. And then I'm just going to do a north-south thermometer and then an east-west thermometer. As a reminder, this triangle is all that remains for the last location. The center point is King William Road, halfway between the river to the north and North Terrace to the south. That does mean I took the tram one stop too far, but that's okay. I can walk back one stop's worth of distance. The GPS was getting pretty confused about my location, but it eventually figured it out. I've just started a thermometer 75 meters west of King William Road, heading east. Just ended the thermometer 75 meters east of King William Road, and we've learned that we are hotter, so it's on the east side. Now to figure out whether it's north or south. I'm updating the map. I think the remaining area is so tiny, there's no point doing another thermometer. I'm just going to do the radius check right now. Moment of truth. It says I'm not. I am at the very southern bit of the feasible region, so I might just need to move north a bit. I believe this is the final version of the map. We're now searching this tiny red triangle for location number 1. I'm gonna wander along here a bit and then recheck the position. I'm gonna walk around this thing and do a check. Apparently we're still not within 250 meters, so I probably need to head north a bit further. I'm walking around Government House, which I do not believe is accessible, so I really hope it's not in there, because then I won't be able to get it. I've just walked down about halfway to the river. This path behind me on the map is labelled Pathway of Honour. So I'm going to do a check from here and we'll see what happens. I've just done a check from the entry to the Pathway of Honour, and it was a hit. We have discovered location 1. I've just seen the image, and it's some kind of stone monument. I'm just gonna walk down the Pathway of Honour and look at these, and maybe one of them will be a match. The one I'm looking for has some faces in kind of a cross pattern. The ones I'm walking past aren't quite the right shape. The one I'm looking for doesn't have this angled mount. It's on like a round, almost spherical stone sitting on top, so it's not going to be one of these. But I'll keep walking along here. I've spotted something up ahead. The shape I'm looking for is a lot like the shape that's peeking out just behind that tree up ahead near the traffic lights. I think we might be close. Alright, we're right behind it now. moment of truth as we walk around. Yes, this is definitely it.
We just checked, and location 1 has been found. The hunt is complete. It's 4:51 as the sun sets in front of me. We've traveled quite a long way. We've used 24 out of our 30 thermometers, but we found all of the locations. That's the hunt complete. Thanks for coming along with me while I did it.